Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever may be the case. My name is Cecil Young. You know, I've been coming to y'all for the last 4 or 5 weeks trying to get you to hear my concerns. And I want you to hear them even more so clear today because I'm at a point now where I'm about ready to say, hey, what should I do? I've done everything it is legally to do, systematically wise to do, and I've still been ignored. Now you see here, I have a letter here showing that I was terminated for not coming to work. And as you see in the quote of the letter, ma'am, would you read the letter as it says as to why I was terminated?
Dear Mr. Young, the letter is dated March 20th, 2006. You were advised via a letter from Labor Relations dated March 10th, 2006, that you must return to work immediately or you will be deemed to have voluntarily resigned your position as a security guard with the City of Bridgeport. As of Friday, March 17, 2006, you have not returned to work. There is no valid reason for your absence, therefore your absence is considered unauthorized, and your employment with the city is hereby terminated, effective immediately. If you have any questions, please call your union rep. The letter was written by Marion Evans, Director of the Health and Social Services.
And who else got a copy of the letter?
Jody Paul, Labor Relations, Frank Bissono from the union, Barbara Massaro, City Attorney, and Janet Finch, Grants personnel.
Okay, now all of these officials that know good and well that I did come to work because they have evidence showing that clearly in black and white. And it really troubled me because you see here documentation of a time card showing on that date, March the 3rd, 2006, I came to work. Here's proof that I came to work. Here's proof of my signature from my supervisor who signed the time card confirming that I did come to work on that date. She also will note up here, you see, that I will be going for a colon exam. What troubles me is that for the City of Bridgeport to ignore this fact, knowing that this is Dr. Evans' notation, that she gave her secretary permission to acknowledge me that I will be leaving on that date, okay, that I'll be going for a colon exam and that I'll be leaving, be going to get married at 12 o'clock with Judge Gannum. And it's evident here in black and white that I came to work. So I want you to look at the exhibits and also to be able to add all this up because there's no way in the world that in America this kind of stuff could be going on and folks be allowed to get away with it. Now here you have the labor board ruling against me by equating my doctor's note as literally straps of paper. Now this is no scrap of paper. This is Dr. Albert Walter's letter that he referred me to Dr. Wainett, who is a psychiatrist, who I've been seeing for the last 17 years. And the reason why they did it was because of the fraud. Now I accused Gerald Weiner, Mike Cohat, okay, Albert Murphy, of violating my civil rights, as well as Dr. Evans and other city officials as well. You see here that I accused them of committing fraud. Here's evidence that they committed fraud. You say, how did they do it? You know, if you're sitting on a juror and they ask that juror, do you know anybody pertaining to the party that we're getting ready to bring before you? And they lie and say, no, we don't, and then we find out that they do, they would disqualify you and even possibly fine you for that. Here in the case here with Mr. Mike Cohat, he knew good and well that the city did terminate me for unjust cause. Nevertheless, he went along with allowing it to go on month after month, knowing that he would get paid for each hearing. You see here he had 3 different hearings where he got paid. Mike Cohan, also Gerald Weiner, chairman of the labor board. Now these are powerful people, okay? They got paid, okay, on a case that should not have even got to this point. Fired employees have a right to continue medical benefits if they get fired and they file a grievance. In my case, I was unjustly terminated, so definitely I filed a grievance, which I clearly gave it to the City of Bridgeport, and I have evidence of that. What troubles me is that here you have again, again the same note, a check stub showing that I got paid. Here are my doctor's notes, 3 doctor's notes which I had brung to them, 2 doctor's notes which I brung to them personally myself, that the labor board called straps of paper. That is not no straps of paper. Now why would the labor board lie? When the labor board's job should be to protect people like myself, not to hurt us, but they lied. Why? Because of the fraud I accused them of. Now you would think by now, Albert Murphy, Gerald Weiner, Mike Cohat would be suing me right now. Cecil Young, I own my home. Why don't they sue me? They don't want to sue me because they know good and well that I'm right. And I dared them to take me to court because they know that they would lose. Okay, with me telling the way it's supposed to be told. Now, I ended up messing up myself by hiring an attorney, okay, which I thought was supposed to have been good in his job. Come to find out that he wasn't. He was perpetrating a fraud as well. Okay, his name was Attorney John Williams, who told me himself personally that he would be the one that would come personally to court to handle my case. Now, right here we have the Assistant U.S. Attorney, Assistant Attorney General Mitchell, who likewise took my case, okay, investigated my case that I complained about with the city in terms of them violating my civil rights. They even gave me a case number telling me that this would be my case number if I have any other complaints that I want to forward to them. Here is the case number that I use. Now, this is what the Assistant Attorney General gave me, okay, in 2009. This was Attorney General Blumenthal's Assistant Attorney General, Mitchell, okay? It troubles me because now we have the state auditors of the state of Connecticut who gave their opinion as it relates to the complaints that we filed, me and my wife at the time, Patricia Young at the time, who since then passed away after 16 years of smoking herself to death, as well as other things, because she had a smoking problem. But it got worse because of the years and that she wrote letters day after day, night after night. Okay, it kind of wore her down even more so because of the stress that it was putting on her. Nevertheless, here's the auditor's report in 2010 that Mr. Blumenthal had. Why come we can't find out what the auditors found? Did they find that they committed fraud? What happened with that information? Now I find out from the new Attorney General, what's the name? The new Attorney General, Tung, says that they lost or they can't find my information. How come they can't find this information? Here's evidence again that Judge Paul Ganem, he's the judge. Judge Paul Ganem is the mayor's brother, all right? He married me on that day to Patricia Young. Okay, here's the marriage certificate. She got put on my insurance policy on that day. Because I told her, Patricia, we better get married because if we don't, I believe they're going to fire me and we're going to lose the benefits that I want you to have if something were to happen to me. So let's get married. We set the next date before I go to work. We set the arrangements up with Judge Ganem that he would marry us at 12 o'clock. We went and we got married by Judge Paul Ganem. All of this is on the website. You will be able to see it yourself and read document by document, which will show you everything that I've been talking about. And it troubles me because here it is. Now I'm being barred to not speak in City Hall. It's been a year and a half, almost. A year and a half that I complained about these contaminated dirt piles that were left at the city's health department, okay? And I complained it to State Rep Newton at the time, okay, who was outraged over it, okay, who as a councilman, who he became councilman later on down the road, said he would pursue the matter, but later on down the road, he ended up allowing them to not give him back the kind of response that we need, which is the response to show the evidence, not just what's her name was, Janine Hawkins, not what Janine Hawkins said, okay, on behalf of the city. Janine Hawkins works for the city. So she said that I'm just a disgruntled employee, okay, and she wrote a letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office telling them to disregard my complaints as a fruitful complaint. Okay, and as a result of that outraged me as well because now I'm being barred from speaking at City Hall, okay, all right, because of me expressing myself about how they make me feel. That should not be the case. This is not a communist state. This is the United States. I should not be violating my civil rights, and I'm saying I need some help. I need some help. So I'm asking everybody of whom it's concerned. I'm not just somebody that just showed up on scene and trying to make a point, trying to raise issues, to try to create problems. I'm an activist. I've been an activist for the last 60 years, basically. Since I was 10 years old, I've been speaking out for our people in our community for years. Here is in a project. Raw sewage backed up into the people's apartment, into the sinks, where they wash their dishes at. These are the housing authority men washing their boots off from the sewage, okay? From those apartments that they have to let into these basements, cellars. They take the cap off in the basement, and look at what they was using to contain the sewage that was coming out of 12 units in a 12-unit apartment building. When it clogs up, it jams up all of those units. So what they do is let that human waste out, and I'm sure they do it to the day the same way, into regular household trash cans, onto the floor, overflowing. What does it cost? Look at the mouse droppings in this lady's house, on her dresser where her kids' toys are set. Look at the dresser where she put her kids' clothes at. Look at all the mouse droppings. That should not be the case. So I'm an activist. Yes, I speak truth to power. I've been doing it all my life. That's what I do. Now here you say, Here's coffee that I was making one morning from the east side sewage plant. That's the side of the town I live on the east end. Now, I ran my water, and the water I ran, look at what it turned into.
About a year ago.
And that was about a year ago. So I'm saying to you, when you turn on your water, make sure you let it run for a little while, because this could be happening to your water, because remember, that is recycled sewage water that you are getting, that you are drinking, that you think is regular tap water. That is sewage water that is treated. And these are the kind of things that you may end up in your throat and your body and affecting you, and you want to know what happened. You don't know what happened with all the chemicals that goes into that sewage plant. I'm an activist. I speak truth to power. That's what I do. Now here's another poster, okay, of me showing police officers doing community policing work in our projects. My job in the beginning was to watch them, to make sure they wouldn't leave the post. Because most of the police officers were leaving the post. They would not stay on their post. They were assigned to watch the housing authority equipment throughout the city in different projects, because at that time in 2006, they were rehabbing PT, they were rehabbing Father Panic, they were rehabbing Green Homes and aquatic apartments and all the above, tearing down. So I had police details that were assigned to monitor the equipment in these places. Now what I did as Cecil Young, the community activist, I used them to not only just watch the equipment, I used them to play basketball with the kids. I used them to communicate with the residents and to move around, because I had a sergeant and a patrolman. These are police details that I ran 7 days a week for 5 years for the city of Bridgeport. 5 years for the Bridgeport Housing Authority. And I only got paid $625. Look at Sergeant Garcia. She was the chief of police. That's Sergeant Garcia that used to be the chief. She worked on my detail. David Daniels. He grew up in P.T. Barnum. He worked on my detail. These are police details that God had put me in a position to use and to show that in height of what they said I would never be. Look at what I have been able to do. I've been able to get my name in the paper showing me speak out about issues that affect people's lives. I've been able to talk about issues that affect our community and other communities. So God has not just left me as they thought I would only be a dummy because I did not function well in school. Yes, I was a dropout. I only spent about 6 months in school, in a classroom. All of my time in school was in a closet, in the principal's office. That's where I was at most of my time. I never spent no time in no classroom other than with John Davis, which was in the 6th grade, 5th to 6th grade. It was called a special class for those of them that were so-called hard-headed and that was tough so-called. Okay, I wasn't tough, but I was smart. I had street smart. Okay, but the bottom line is that they said I would never be anything. Look at all of the issues that I raised and talked about that affected our people in our community, whether it be police, whether it be whatever. Look at me, helping our people. A.J. Perez, he was the chief of police in Bridgeport. That's A.J. Perez. He worked my detail. I broke him in P.T. Barnum when he was a patrolman. When Mayor Tom Busey was mayor. He had assigned at my request, okay? He had assigned at my request a letter, okay, allowing me to supervise the police details, okay, even on Stratford Avenue, okay? This is a letter from Mayor Tom Busey. Mayor Tom Busey, back then, what year was that? In 1988, I was assigned by Mayor Tom Busey, the letter came to Superintendent Walsh, telling Superintendent Walsh that he has to have me to meet with the police details that are assigned to Stratford Avenue in the patrol car, and to take them in and out the neighborhood and to introduce them to the community at large, okay? I did that years back then, trying to make our neighborhoods safe and our communities safe. But now what has happened to me now? I get my sheriff work taken from me. Why? Russell Liskoff, Chief Assistant City Attorney. Russell Liskoff says, oh, he has issues giving work to officials people who are suing the city. Well, I was a city sheriff, elected city sheriff. I had a right to sue the city for they firing me the way they did. And to take away my sheriff work because I would not drop a complaint, I say, this is not, again, South Africa, this is not Russia, this is the United States of America, but yet and still, this happened to me. I need your help. At the end of the show, I will put up a poster that will show you how you can download all of this information about me. About me. I'm not no Johnny come lately. Here, Joe Owens. He wrote a story about a man of action. When I ran for mayor in 1977, I had a cadet corps. that I formed in P.T. Barnum back in the days when we were in our 20s. Girls and guys that patrol P.T. Barnum to make it safe. That's what we did. That's my idea. That's what I did. I created to help make our neighborhoods and our kids safe when they go to school, to make them safe when they're in the yards and in the neighborhoods playing. That's what I tried to do. Yet and still, here's the pile of raw sewage that was dumped in the back of P.T. Barnum next to the ground where we played baseball at. I contacted Congressman U.S. Stuart McKinley at the time, okay, to find out how could they do such a thing. Raw sewage dumped right behind the project where these kids play day in and day out. Look at Joe Owen, the man of action. He did the story about me when I ran for mayor in, 1975? Come on, I've been speaking out. Why? Not because of the job, because of the care I have. Because God blessed me, I'm blessing others, and I'm glad to do that. So I say, don't just look at me and judge me. Judge the evidence. Judge the evidence of the articles that are here, of different types, articles that I spoke about pertaining to all of our people. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Jew, what have you. Weapons, my boy Clyde Nichols. He's another one who comes to City Hall every year and speak about gun violence. Safe, he want to put safe street zones where anybody get caught with any guns in the school area that they get extra fine, extra charge. Okay, he's a brother that's been going down to City Hall for about a number of years. And it's sad that we don't have no reporters no longer take the time to talk to people and to hear those constituents that come down to City Hall to ask the public and ask those officials to respond to our concerns. They don't respond to us. I've been going to the city council for 16 years, now 17 years, asking them to investigate these allegations, and they will not do it. I asked them to turn this information over. They will not do it. Why? Look at this raw sewage that I'm talking about. We need to do something about that. I say to y'all, I need your help. I need your support. Look at again. P.T. Barnum, Father Panic, the bandit stairwells. I'm at the school speaking to kids about drugs, crimes, and all the above. I've been out there on the eye of the storm working with police that I never thought would be able to work with. But I worked with them, and they worked with me, and we did it joyfully. For 5 years, a sergeant and a patrolman, I supervised 3 details, 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and 12 to 8, 7 days a week, holidays included. I wouldn't take a vacation. Why? Because I was so impressed with me being able to do what I did. That's why I did it, because God said in hiding what they think of you. Let me tell you what I want them to do, is to look up the archives. Look up and see the video of you and your police details and how you got them relating to the residents of Green Homes, how you got them relating to the residents at Aquatic Apartments, how you got them respecting what you're trying to get done, which is to make our neighborhoods safe. I talk to the police and tell them goals and objectives before you even go to the street. Yes, you are assigned to do this, but I secured those buildings, I secured those places. So now you can move around and sit in areas where you can cut down that drug dealing, you can cut down that gang banging, you can cut down that doing what they want to do because they think they got the right to do it, but they don't have the right to do it. Dr. King and others fought for us to have the right to enjoy life. We're living in fear. We're living in conditions that we shouldn't be living in. And we got people that look like you and I, instead of them organizing and meeting with our people and talking to our people, no, they're back there doing the Pharaoh's bidding and allowing people who care leave this city and grow when they should be staying here to bring this city back to life. I'm not going to leave it. So please go to Soundview. Go to YouTube. Look at Cecil Young. Look at what I've been trying to do for our people. I've been doing this. I'm 73 years old. I'm tired. I'm wore down. But I'm going to stop in about another 2 months from now. But before I stop, I want to let y'all know that I'm no accident. God gave me the power, the authority to do what I've done here. And I want y'all to know that there go the grace of God could be you next. Let it not happen to you next. Do something now, for tomorrow may be too late. Please, take this information down. Google it. Check it out. Say, is this man crazy? Is he just talking to be talking? Do he know what he's talking about? Is they accusing him of all these things? Are they doing this to him just because he is what? What? Why are they doing me this way? Why? Where Black Lives Matter at? Where the NACP matter at? Where the Connecticut Post at? Mike Daly, Sid Folsom, Bob Sawyer, Sid Folsom and Mike Daly, Mike Mako. Those were reporters. Linda Pinto, those were good reporters that meant something. They helped me get what I got now by hearing me out. They were some of the reporters that covered those stories that I showed you. And they didn't cover them because they liked me. They covered them because they were worthwhile being covered. I need your help. Don't let them take me out just because they got the power to do it. Don't let them do this to me, because if they do it to me, they'll do it to you next. I don't want to give up. Come too far to turn around. But I'm tired. I need some peace. I need some rest. So please, take them YouTubes, call the Connecticut Post, call WICC, call News 12 and ask them, what about this brother who's out there in the eye of the storm trying to do? He's not trying, he's doing. He's done it. Why ain't they covered it? Why? Because they can't control me. I guess not. You can't control what you didn't make. Huh? You can't control what you didn't make. God was the one who developed me in the skills that I have. And that's why he told me, use what you got. Huh? Use what you got while you can, for tomorrow may be too late. So I say to those of y'all who are listening, don't love me, don't like me, but it's right, go along with it. If it's wrong, say something about it. Say something about it. Take a note, write it down. Let the public know, because I got something else good for you next week. I wasn't going to give you this week, but I wanted to let you know that before I give you that, please call me up. And I'll give you a disc of some good music from Dr. King and some others that you're going to like next week. But this week is about you knowing, here's the sign, here's the number, here's what you got to do. Call the number, call them, and look me up and say, yes, that brother deserves somebody to look out for him. He shouldn't be out there doing this thing alone. 73 years old. I'm getting older now. I'm tired, but I need some help. I need some help. Don't be afraid to stand up with me. I ain't asked you to love me, to go along with me. Go along with what is right. What is wrong? We got leaders down here in City Hall that look like you and me. I go down there and speak. They look at me like I'm a foreigner. The people that go down there and speak after me, they look at them like they're foreigners. Huh? They look at them, I don't care what color you are, they just look at you. Don't say nothing to you. What kind of counsel is that? Now, Ernest Newton promised he would pursue this injustice. He started it, but he stopped. Ernest Newton, please come back to the table. Have them to turn over the documents that they claim they got to show who was right and who was wrong. Because you got what I gave you, Ernest. It's on TV. It's on TV, Ernest. Everything I gave you was on TV. What did they give you compared to what I gave you? They can't give you what they ain't got because they don't have it. Because they made it all up. The labor board people were powerful folks, and people were afraid of them. I couldn't even get a lawyer to take the case. They're afraid of them. I understand it. Gerald Wayne and them folks got some power. They got some juice. I mean, they sit on the labor board who has the power to hire you or reinstate you. So they got power. So I understand why lawyers are a little afraid, but God knows somebody was in the Civil Rights Division. Somebody was in the U.S. Attorney's Office. Somebody, somewhere. Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives, somebody, somewhere come to my rescue. I need your help. I need your help. I'm not asking for no charity. I'm not asking for no blessing. I'm asking you to help me continue to expose injustice. And that's what these signs are up there for. That's what those notices are up there for. I'm not asking for something. I'm not running for office. I'm not looking for anything other than to help you help yourself. Let's do it now, because tomorrow may be too late. Is my time up, or do I still got more time?
That's it.
That's it. May the Lord bless you until the next time. Peace. Shalom.